his dream. Now, based in the Carolinas, this driver-owner has quickly earned the reputation of being one of NASCAR's true stars of the future. A man who has taken wins and championships in stride while continuing his climb up the NASCAR ladder. And tonight, as he returns to his New England roots, you get to meet the driver of the DuPont Chevrolet, Ricky Craven, as Nutmeg Mills presents This Week in NASCAR. And now, from the Holiday Inn in Concord, New Hampshire, here's the host of This Week in NASCAR, Eli Gold.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to This Week in NASCAR, and welcome to Concord, New Hampshire. You see the phone number? That's how you can join us right here on the show, 1-800-292-5551. As Ricky Craven joins us to take your calls and comments tonight on This Week in NASCAR. The Winston Cup Series idle this weekend, so we've followed the Busch Tour up here to New Hampshire. They'll run the Chevy Dealers 250 on Saturday afternoon. As far as the news of this week is concerned, let's bring you up to speed on a couple of items. First off, the Pontiac Winston Cup teams got some good news. For those of you who might not be up on all the technical specs of a race car, the Pontiac Grand Prix is about 7 inches shorter from front to back than are the Ford Thunderbirds or the Chevy Luminas. The Pontiac teams, after testing in Atlanta, asked NASCAR if they could stretch the cars just a bit. And although they didn't get everything they wanted, NASCAR has allowed the Pontiac teams to stretch their Grand Prix a bit in time for the Winston Select. That's the All-Star race coming up in Charlotte in just a couple of weeks' time. News from Dover Downs International Speedway. They are building a bigger pit road, and consequently, they're going to expand the starting field for the Winston Cup Budweiser 500, a 40-car starting field at the Monster Mile coming up in early June as they continue their expansion. And one other item to pass along, it really is not a direct NASCAR news item, but it does have a related background. I'm sure we're all familiar with the tragedies that befell the Formula One circuit this past weekend at their race in Imola, with 2 drivers dying on the race circuit, including the 3-time world driving champ Ayrton Senna and 4 other people injured on a pit road accident. While the investigations are continuing regarding the racetrack accidents, the pit road rules have now been revised by Formula One, and they are adopting the rule that NASCAR has instituted over the last few years. Starting with their next Formula One race, there will be a speed limit instituted on pit road. So that's the rule change there, and certainly all of us in the NASCAR family share the sorrow that our brethren over in Formula One are feeling right now. With that said, let's welcome our special guest to the show this evening, a gentleman who has the New England roots, as we say, finds himself in 4th place in the NASCAR Busch Series point standings. Ricky Craven, driver-owner of the DuPont Automotive Chevrolet. Great to have you with us tonight. Good to see you.
Thank you very much, Eli.
It's got to be nice coming back home, too, isn't it?
It really is. You know, with the success we had the last few weeks and the team on a roll, it's good to be back home.
How do you like this car owner business? Everything you thought it would be? Tougher, easier? Give me an early season report card.
It was as tough as I expected. The first couple of races were difficult. The things that could have hurt the team, the engine problems or financial problems, we eliminated with the Hickory win. But the first portion of the season was tough, and I knew it would be, and the fact that we prepared for that, I think, has helped us.
Ricky Craven is with us for this hour as we take your calls and comments. Again, the phones are open toll-free, 1-800-292-5551. That's how you can join us here in Concord tonight. Your phone calls as soon as we come back on This Week in NASCAR. Stay with us.
This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Nutmeg Racing. Nutmeg's new NASCAR collection of caps and T-shirts are for race fans who want to stand out from the crowd. By Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. By Chevrolet. One car company has won more NASCAR races over the last 10 years. Genuine Chevrolet. And by Eagle One, ultra premium waxes and polishes.
I'm Joe Gibbs. You know, as an NFL coach and a NASCAR owner, I've always tried to get the best talent behind me. So when I got Nutmeg Mills together with Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett, I knew we'd have a winner. It's Nutmeg's official NASCAR collection for race fans who want to stand out from the crowd. Now, if I could just get some of these drivers behind me during the race.
Official NASCAR apparel by Nutmeg Mills, available at fine stores everywhere.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and to me. And there's no place that I'd rather be. a bush beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains, a bush beer.
Camaro convertible. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll?
Eagle One Wheel Care products are exclusively recommended by the world's leading wheel manufacturers.
Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina. Kenny Wallace there just ahead of Ricky Craven. Cars number 8 and number 2. It looks rather benign, but boy, it turned into a rather bizarre finish, didn't it?
Certainly did. You know, Kenny's been really good to me. He's fun to race with, and that particular race was tough. I told you, we took a new race car there. Yeah. I told the guys when we left, look at it, because it'll look different when we come back. I didn't mean that, but it got tore up pretty good.
Was it a total write-off? Are you going to be able to salvage anything?
No, we'll have it prepared.
Well, yeah, good. Let's get to the phones. Got a lot of folks who want to chat with Ricky Craven tonight. James joins us from the state of Indiana with our first question this evening. Hey, James, how you doing?
Good evening, Eli.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing?
Very well.
By the way, I love NASCAR Shop Talk.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your tuning into that as well.
Okay. My question is for you, Eli. You mentioned a few minutes ago the tragedy involving Ayrton Senna.
Right.
I was wondering, how is that going to affect some of the safety measures going on in NASCAR and in auto racing in general?
Well, I don't think there's any comparison, certainly. NASCAR does not have a turn anywhere on any of its racetracks where you're going 186 miles an hour, and if you miss a turn, there's a concrete wall staring you in the face. Not to say that, you know, that is inherently a problem at the Imola track. I've never been, and I'm just going with the reports that you've seen as well. But the NASCAR tracks are very, very careful about safety factors. If there is a turn that you might find yourself getting in trouble at, road courses or what have you, there are always tires stacked up. So I don't think, other than the fact that both sanctioning bodies want to have the safest facilities possible, I don't think what happened at Imola can really be likened to a Winston Cup or a Busch Series situation. Thank you for your call as we go down now to Cape Coral, Florida, and a question from a viewer on the Sunshine Network. Hey, Gary, how are you?
Good evening. How are you, Eli?
Great, thank you.
I have two questions. One's for Ricky and one's for you.
Sure.
Ricky, I understand that they're going to be running V8s and V6s next year in Busch Grand National.
That's right, Gary.
Is that going to be a track-to-track basis or just certain teams?
Well, that's going to be an option, and as owners and drivers, we'll make it a track-to-track option, and it's going to be hard. The first portion of the race, we're going to try and decide which is the best engine for the job, and it's going to be kind of blind.
And as a matter of fact, I was talking earlier this afternoon with Jamie Obey, the fine driver from North Ferrisburg, Vermont, and he told me that he has in the past run V6s and V8s. He ran a V6 last race here in New Hampshire. He's going to run an 8-banger here this weekend, and I guess everybody's kind of experimenting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Trevor is next on the phone with a question. Good evening.
Mr. Craven.
Yes, sir, Trevor.
What do you consider NASCAR should do with regard to the antics or tactics of Jimmy Spencer's driving in the last two races, North Wilkesboro and Talladega? Some time ago, Jeff Purvis was sat down by NASCAR through lack of experience. Do you not think they should treat Mr. Spencer with the same method and maybe penalize his owner, Mr. Johnson, for failing to control his driver?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily a question that is fair for Ricky to have to answer, nor for that matter is it fair for me to have to answer. That's a decision that NASCAR has to make unto themselves. At North Wilkesboro, they found cause to sit him on pit road for a 5-lap penalty after the altercation with Ken Schrader. At Talladega this past week, certainly there was some incidents that he wished would not have happened. He apologized for those. We talked about it on a radio show Tuesday night with Dale Earnhardt, and we really dissected it with more time then than we have right now as to whether it's inexperience or lack of patience or what have you. But NASCAR has to make those rulings as they see fit at the time of the incident, and at the same time they might well sit and chat with him in the future. But rest assured, what happens on the racetrack, nobody's playing chicken at 200 miles an hour. It happened by accident. That's why they call them an accident. And you know, Jimmy was quick to apologize as soon as the race was over. As you know, we have a voicemail service now that's open throughout the course of the week. For those of you who can't get in during the 1 hour of our program, the phone is open during the week, and you can record your question if you are tired of hitting that redial button. Rick did just that in Midland, Michigan. A voicemail question for Ricky Craven.
How do they choose which cars get the race cameras, and are the drivers paid to have the cameras put in the car?
And an appropriate question. I understand you've got the in-car camera with you this week.
We're really fortunate. Everybody can ride with us this weekend. In most cases, it's determined by the sponsor if they choose to have it. And DuPont Automotive Refinish chose to have the in-car camera in both Jeff Gordon and our car in several races, maybe up to 15 this year.
Really? What about the actual technical aspects of it? When the track opens tomorrow for practice, is the camera already in place? Do they put it in later in the day? How does that work?
It's a great point. You know, Ron Miller has worked so hard with Jeff and I. I talked to him late in the week and said, Ron, get that equipment to me early in the morning. We're going to strap it in Friday. We want to practice. We want to qualify with it and race with it. And we don't want to stick it in Saturday morning.
Sure. Larry from Pocono, Pennsylvania has a question for Ricky Craven. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, how you doing, Eli?
Great, Larry. How are you?
Okay, first I'd like to congratulate Ricky for the win at Hickory and the strong season so far.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, I have a question for either Ricky or Eli. Why don't the Busch Series race at Pocono?
I don't know. I don't know what the exact reason is, other than the ARCA cars have run there, the Sportsman Series has run there, and I really don't know why the Busch cars haven't been added to the schedule. That's a tough old racetrack, too. You talk about a one where compromise is the byword. That's a tough racetrack.
It is, and the only time I had been to Pocono was to go to Berto Rue's driving school.
Right.
And I saw just enough of it when I went off of the road course into turn one that I'll wait till I can get to Winston Cup before I see it again.
And that might not be too far off. Who knows? Ricky Craven is our special guest. We're going to come right back with more of your questions. As we leave you now, let's check out the Busch Series point standings. Positions 1 through 10 heading into Saturday's race, the Chevy Dealers 250 here in New Hampshire. We're coming right back.
Two riders, a deadly wager, the perfect crime, a classic mystery, The Spider and the Fly, a new USA world premiere thriller, and Holmes is in terrible danger. A mysterious attack leaves him less than a week to live. In Sherlock Holmes, the illustrious client, an A&E original. It's no mystery. Cable's the place for great entertainment next week.
On Paragon Cable.
Will contact you for an appointment. In an emergency, your new Sears air conditioning system can even be installed within 24 hours. So don't sweat it. Just pick up the phone and call Sears now to arrange for the installation of your new Kenmore air conditioning system. At Sears, your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. Call now and keep cool with Sears installed air conditioning. For all your cooling and heating needs, you can count on Sears, the most trusted name around the house.
Fight night, fight night, fight night at the Forum. Hook, uppercut, right cross, lights out. Fight night from the Forum, Monday night at 11, live on Prime.
Oxford Plains, Oxford Speedway, back in 1991. As far as you've come from those days in the speedy oil change car, and the success you're enjoying, you still enjoy those days? Was there something special about that?
A little bit of that is Hickory and Orange County and Martinsville, and I reflect on those races. The Oxford 250, the Chevy Dealers 250 got me where I'm at.
Michael in Richlands, Virginia has a question for Ricky. Hello.
Hello, Eli.
Good evening, sir.
Great show.
Thanks.
I want to congratulate Ricky on his 5th place finish last week.
Thanks.
And I was wondering, a couple of tracks would be very demanding on a driver, not only mentally but physically, such as Bristol and other racetracks. I was wondering if he does anything to prepare himself, such as weightlifting and/or anything to the car difference at tracks such as Bristol.
I really do, and you do have to prepare the car differently to brace your neck and leg braces and shoulder braces, but I try to get as much activity as I can. You know, the guys are probably the biggest asset. We have a little football at lunch, and Kevin, he can really run. He runs me hard, and the other guys. But yeah, we have to. Being an owner, I don't get what I need, but Bristol demands a lot of a car driver.
Let's go down to Tampa, Florida. Chad, watching on the Sunshine Network. Hello.
Hi, Eli.
Hi there, Chad. How are you?
Okay. Ricky, I'm a big fan of yours. I'm a Winston Cup watcher, and I was watching the race. I'm a half Hermie Sadler, half Ricky Craven fan, and I was watching the Rougemont race just this last week, and I got pretty upset. I don't know about you, but when the number 07 car blew up...
Yeah, I was upset.
I thought they should have thrown the caution earlier. What about you?
Believe it or not, I really felt for NASCAR. We had run 297 laps. They wanted to finish it under green, and I did also. And it wasn't until we realized we couldn't, and the caution came out. But I understand, Chad, but truly, I felt for NASCAR in that position and have no problem with it.
Milton joined us earlier this week with a voicemail question from St. Cloud, Minnesota. Let's listen to his question.
What's the difference in gear ratio between the short tracks and the super tracks?
A big difference. We'll run almost 300 points difference between, like Orange County, where we'll run a 633 gear. Daytona, I believe we run a 315, 318. So there is a little more than 300, almost twice as much gear.
Back down to Florida now to James joining us in Ocala, Florida. Good evening, sir.
Hey, how you doing, Eli?
Great, thank you.
I just wanted to ask you a couple questions, and I want to know how you got started in radio and how long you've been associated with NASCAR, and wanted to wish Ricky a good luck in his quest for the Busch Championship.
Well, we appreciate your calling in. I've been with MRN Radio now for 18 years, and I started when I was 2. And no, seriously, I was with them. I've been with them now for 18 years. Formerly a hockey broadcaster who eventually went into racing, now football and basketball and a bunch of other items as well. But it's been a lot of fun, a very rewarding relationship with NASCAR and MRN for all those 18 years. Alan has joined us here in the audience at the Holiday Inn in Concord. He's got a question. Alan, good evening.
Yes, I have a quick comment for you, Eli. I do love the new set as compared to the old one.
Thank you, sir.
Ricky, welcome back. Welcome home, both to Concord and New England. My quick comment was, you mentioned Kenny Wallace. I heard about a 20-minute recording a couple of years ago at NHIS that I wish you two would put on tape. It was quite a comical bit. I hope you remember it.
You can't be held responsible for any of that 2 years ago.
Okay. Other than that, I hope you win race number 2 out here this weekend.
Thank you very much. I do too. And Kenny and I have had a lot of fun. When I moved to the Southern ranks, he helped make the transition easy for me, and we kind of stuck together.
Were you kind of concerned about moving down into uncharted waters? I mean, here you just pick up great credentials, but you just pick up, lock the family up into the station wagon, and off you go to the south. That had to have been a heck of a gutsy move.
Yeah, and we did have the credentials, and I banked on that, and I went back, adverted back to that at Martinsville. We got a pole.
Right.
But when I went to Darlington and Talladega and Atlanta and Michigan, boy, did I get taught a lesson.
But you won a pole at Darlington, too, so you've learned your lessons well.
Yeah.
Let's go out to Castle Rock, Colorado. Joe with a question for This Week in NASCAR. Hello, Joe.
We know that the drivers are a pretty physical bunch of guys, but how in the heck are these pit crews doing these sub-16-second stops, and what kind of program are they on?
Good question. We talked before about physical preparedness. Do the guys rehearse or practice pit stops, or is the repetition week to week enough to keep them sharp?
I think some of the good ones play football with me at lunch. But, they're the true athletes. I mean, these guys, they deserve to be commended. They've gone beyond what anybody ever expected, and they have to watch what they eat and work out hard and really focus. And so much of that's mental. So much of that is concentration, just like a race car driver.
Ricky Craven is our guest as we spend this hour together. A quick reminder about where we're going to be for the next couple of weeks on This Week in NASCAR. Next Thursday, back out west with the Winston Cup cars, we'll be at the GGP studios in Corte Madera, California, just down the road from Sears Point Raceway. Tickets will become available at 3 o'clock. There's been a huge demand out there for tickets, and the tickets are of a limited number. So 3 o'clock at the GGP studios will give out tickets with the 6 o'clock local time Pacific, the airtime, next week. In 2 weeks from today, we'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina, at the studios at WTVI TV in Charlotte, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Hope you can join us in person or certainly right here on Prime. As we leave you right now for the moment, let's check out positions 11 through 20 in the Busch Series point standings. And more of your questions for Ricky Craven right after this.
With the reunion just 2 weeks away, I thought I'd never fit into that dress. I never thought I'd be that fat. I was too embarrassed to go anywhere, let alone a reunion. Then Sandy said there's only one solution, Accelerex.
The 14-day Accelerex program is doctor-approved for fast weight loss. It's 100% guaranteed to help you lose weight faster than you ever thought possible or your money back.
I did it. I dropped 2 dress sizes in just 2 weeks. And you can too with Accelerex.
I'm Cindy Sawinski, and I lost 8 pounds in my first week. The Accelerex program really helped me lose weight fast.
I'm Harry Snow, and I've lost an incredible 18 pounds in just 2 weeks.
I'm Pam Russell. I stayed on the Accelerex program and lost 60 pounds. Don't wait. Make the call now.
I'm Louise Lynch, and I lost 9 pounds in just 2 weeks. Don't wait. Make the call.
Your 14-day Accelerex program is doctor-approved for fast weight loss and only $12.95. It's 100% guaranteed to help you lose weight fast or your money back. Call 1-800-826-1144 to order. We accept all personal check and credit card orders by phone. Call 1-800-826-1144 now. We will accept your personal check or credit card order by phone. Call 1-800-826-1144 right now. Remember, have your checkbook or credit card ready when calling.
We are back with you at the Holiday Inn in Concord, New Hampshire, the state capital here in the Granite State, along with our special guest, Ricky Craven. I'm Eli Gold. Glad you're with us tonight. Let's get back to the phones. Rhonda joins us now. I remember this hometown, Syracuse, Utah. Rhonda, you got through to the show a few weeks ago. Great to have you back with us.
Thanks very much. You know what I was wondering is, what do they use to inflate the tires with? Is it nitrogen or is it just flat air? And is it the same in both the inner liner and the outside?
Yeah, we use nitrogen, and we use it in the inner liner as well because it's convenient, but it helps to decrease the build in air pressure. It doesn't build as quickly, and that's pretty important, especially with a radio.
Really? Let's go out to the state of Washington. Mark joining us from Belfair, Washington, watching on Prime Pacific Northwest. Hello.
Hello there, sir.
Hi, Mark. How are you, sir?
Oh, just fine.
Good.
I watch the show every week, and I just had a general question here.
Sure.
I was interested in finding out, I've heard rumors before of Chrysler getting back into NASCAR racing.
Well, that really is just a rumor. A lot of people have asked that question. Chrysler is active in the ARCA series right now. They do have an LH series car that they would eventually, I guess, like to see become the Winston Cup car of choice. But I always hearken back to the best explanation I've heard in a while, and that came from Ricky Rudd last year in Michigan when he announced the formation of his new team. A lot of folks said it was going to be a Chrysler product. That was a speculation. Ricky said, hey, we talked to Chrysler. They just weren't quite ready yet to go Winston Cup racing, but that might be a nice little, it would be great to see another manufacturer in the future.
Yeah, for competition of true red bow tie Chevrolet, but we welcome the competition.
Let's go down to Charlotte, North Carolina. Robert, welcome to the show.
Curious on what the average temperature of the brakes are during a short speedway run on the short circuit.
Yeah, on the short tracks more so than the super speedways where you don't touch the brakes much except to finally slow down a pit road. But what kind of brake readings do you see at a Martinsville, for instance, where brakes are so critical?
Last week we had temperatures on the front exceeding 800 degrees and 600 on the rear. And that's as high as I've seen in a long, long time.
And you didn't boil them, huh?
Well, we tried like heck, but we didn't.
Let's go to our next call. John joins us on This Week in NASCAR. He's in Freeland, Michigan. Hello.
Hi, Ricky.
Hi.
How you doing, guy? My buddy Tom and I will be down in August to see you down at MIS. I'd like to know what you'd like and dislike about the track down there.
Well, it's another one of the racetracks that I'm having to adjust to. And when I moved south, I realized there was this unknown element we call air, and I can't predict what it does when in certain situations, and I'm getting better at that, and I'm really working hard. I feel like I got a degree in short track racing, and you know, I apply that when I go to the little tracks. But the future is the super speedways, and I need to work really hard to make that quick adjustment.
And certainly Michigan International Speedway, one of the finest racetracks in America, home to Roger Penske and that fine organization. Speaking of Roger Penske, he's got 3 cars set to go in the Indy 500 coming up later this month. And here on Prime Network, they're going to be having a special Countdown to Indy program, a series of programs. Michael and John Andretti. There'll be all sorts of other drivers participating. Robbie Gordon, as you see, Ari Lyondike, Bobby Rahal. That show coming up on the days that you see, hosted by some folks at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The only way you can get in is on their voicemail box, the number that you see on the screen. So if you're an IndyCar fan, make note of that. If you're a Winston Cup fan or a Busch Series fan, you're at the right place tonight. This Week in NASCAR from Concord, New Hampshire. As we leave you for the moment, let's take a look at the Rookie of the Year standings, the Penrose Rookie Challenge on the NASCAR Busch Series, and more of your questions for Ricky right after this.
Mother's California Gold, the finest cleaners, polishes, and finish restorers. Carnauba Wax protects and shines. Easy to apply, looks great.
California Gold, there's no shine like Mother's.
Hi, I'm Joe Gibbs. You know, as an NFL coach and a NASCAR owner, I've always tried to get the best talent behind me. So when I got Nutmeg Mills together with Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett, I knew we'd have a winner. It's Nutmeg's official NASCAR collection for race fans who want to stand out from the crowd. Now, if I could just get some of these drivers behind me during the race.
Official NASCAR apparel by Nutmeg Mills, available at fine stores everywhere.
It's a major breakthrough in auto protectant technology. Formula 2001 Super Protectant. It provides a more brilliant, longer-lasting shine than Armor All on vinyl and leather. And look, in the Arizona desert, Formula 2001 brought back the shine to UV-faded vinyl, rubber, even leather. Get the new standard in automotive protectant technology. Formula 2001 with 50% more active shining ingredients than Armor All. Get Formula 2001 products today.
With the Daytona grandstands as a backdrop, there's the brain trust of the DuPont team. Pretty good man you got working with you.
Doing a wonderful job, and I have to credit all of them. Scott Maxim became part owner of the company, and my father-in-law, Jim Groton, and all the guys have been working so hard. They're the key.
How about yourself as an owner driver? Are you forceful? I mean, do you have to push sometimes to get your way? Do you give the crew their lead sometimes? What's the byplay like in the garage area?
Pretty aggressive. Yeah.
Are you?
Maybe you should ask them, but I'm not sure they'd tell you the truth in front of me. I think I'm intent on winning, and they are. And you know, it creates a really good atmosphere and good chemistry, and you know, it gets intense, but you need that.
Sure, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's go to Wheeling, West Virginia for our next question. Good evening.
What is the difference between a super speedway car and a short track car?
All right, William, thank you. Good question. They both look the same. What's different beneath the skin?
So much preparation in the skin.
The skin itself, sure.
In the Chevy Lumina and in the body and the exhaust pipes and the tuning and getting everything to get maximum horsepower and decrease drag and you know, in some cases increase downforce. And we got a lot of support from Chevrolet this year, and we went to the wind tunnel. First time I had ever been to wind tunnel. That paid dividends for us and helped us all the way around.
Do you guys do all the wind tunnel work, the extensive work that the Winston Cup teams do, or is it scaled down to some degree or not?
It was a wonderful opportunity. We went there and we got educated. We had an 8-hour shift. In the first 4 hours, we got educated on everything they had learned, and then we experimented a little bit. We do our bodies ourselves at our shop, and that hurts us a little bit for manpower, but it helps us throughout the season.
Sure. Let's go out to Lincoln, Nebraska. Marvin has a question for Ricky Craven. Good evening, sir.
On restart, why do the cars on the lead lap start on the outside rather than on the inside? It seems like starting on the outside is a disadvantage to the lead cars.
Well, if they get in the way, we can bump them. We, you know, we work hard to get past those guys. In most cases, they either had a problem or it wasn't their day, and they'll have to wait till next week. So, in order to make it fair, the caution comes out and we regroup. The lead lap cars go on the inside in single file, and the lap cars go to the outside, and allows us to restart comfortably and, you know, race the guys we're competing against.
Bill from Randolph, Massachusetts has joined us here at the Holiday Inn. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My question is for Ricky, and I would like to know why, when the Busch cars are preparing for qualifications, they are left on jack stands for quite a long time, and that's not done in the Winston Cup garage area.
Well, I think they have more people, and I think they get their cars down quicker. And in our case, there's a lot of things that need some attention. On the top, the bottom, the sides, and it needs to be accessible. It needs to be in the air so they can get crawling around and detect problems.
Right. Let's go out to San Antonio, Texas. Russ watching on the HSE network. Good evening, sir.
Always curious with the sponsors they got on the race cars. Do they actually use the sponsors' products at home, away from the track, as well as representing them on the track? And if they do, I think that's great. And if not, why?
Most of the fellas do. I mean, I didn't see Sterling Marlin wearing legs pantyhose when they used to be on his car, but there are obviously some exceptions, but most of the fellas use the product.
We use all the DuPont automotive finish we can get, give as much as we can to our friends and family, and another DuPont product, Crytox, and it's a lubricant, and we use that. John's educated us to use it on window jams. I'm trying to get my wife to cook with it, but it hasn't been that successful. But we use it in a lot of applications.
Tell me about your involvement with the sponsor. How many appearances do you make? I was talking again, hearkening back to a visit with Dale Earnhardt on Tuesday, and we were discussing the hundreds of appearances he makes a year, some for Goodwrench, others not. How many appearances do you make for DuPont? How many are in conjunction with Jeff Gordon? How many by yourself?
I'll make as many as they request. Jeff's the same way. Both of us consider ourselves so lucky to be associated with DuPont, one of the finest corporations in the world, and they've been so good to both of us. And it could be 30, 40, you know, we do hospitality, and
sure.
Jeff and I have had a lot of fun doing them together, and I think the fans enjoy that, you know, a little variety of the Busch and the Winston Cup, but it's been great for all of us.
Do you pick Jeff's brain? Do you get a chance to just sit down and say, all right, give me some of those secrets you've learned, and I dare say there are some things you could share with him just as easily.
Yeah, you have to understand, he spots for me in the conjunction races, and I've helped spot for him at times, and you know, we appreciate each other. As race car drivers, we understand the language, and we can talk and communicate in ways that I can't with other people, and I got to say we've helped each other. Jeff's crew chief, Ray Evernham's been a big help for me in building the new team, and as well as Hendrick Motorsports and Rick Hendrick and Jimmy Johnson. So I've got a lot of good friends over there in the DuPont 24 team.
Ricky and I could just sit here and keep chatting all evening, but we are going to get right back to your calls. But first, we have to break away with a look at the manufacturer's point standings in the Busch Series. They call it the Bill France Performance Cup. Call it what you will. A lot of fellows very proud of how well they've done this year. And let's take a look at the numbers. We'll be right back.
polish a whole car in about half the time with new Turtle Wax Instant Foam and Shine, the first foaming car polish. It's so much easier. With ordinary polish, you have to wipe, wait, and rub. With new Instant Foam and Shine, you just foam and shine. A mirror-like shine with long-lasting Turtle Wax protection. It's never been easier or faster. So why wait? Polish your car in about half the time with new Turtle Wax Instant Foam and Shine.
Corvette Vac by Eureka for home or auto. 10 tools included. Power for big jobs, tight spots, extra long cord. Corvette Vac by Eureka.
Crime plays the world.
There's nothing so tragic as an untimely loss. So protect your car's engine with Slick 50, the world's #1 selling engine treatment.
Mother's California Gold, the finest cleaners, polishes, and finish restorers. Carnauba Wax protects and shines. Easy to apply, looks great.
California Gold, there's no shine like Mother's.
Come on along and head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer.
We were talking about short track racing. That's the Martinsville Speedway, the Miller 300 a few weeks ago, and thank God for duct tape, kind of holding the car together there. How difficult is it just to keep your cool on those? I mean, how do you know how much you can expect to be leaned on and how much you can lean on the next guy without tempers getting out of sorts?
You don't know. 10 years ago, my temper wasn't controllable like it is now. I mean,
well, you've matured. We all have, yeah.
Certainly. For me, it's kind of spontaneous. I mean, you know what your limits are, but there's been a couple times this season where I've been a little hot, and you know, that's just part of wanting it real bad too. And it happens to each of the crew members, and happens to the officials and commentators now and then.
But we just smile our way through it. We've got a special gift that we give away each and every week on the show. It's that brand new Winston Cup NASCAR directory, which, as we've said, is kind of like having 18 souvenir programs wrapped up in one. It gives you track maps, area maps, hotel information, restaurants, everything you want to know about the entire NASCAR Winston Cup Series schedule. You can order your own copy from that toll-free number you see on the screen, and we give a copy away each week to the guest here in the audience who has traveled the furthest to join us. Normally it is many, many hundreds, if not thousands of miles. We had a guy come in from Alaska to see a show, and he took home a whole crate of those books. Tonight, the fellow drives down from Vermont to join us with the question, and we appreciate your being here, Mike. How you doing?
I'd like to congratulate you on a fine show, Eli.
Thank you, sir.
And Ricky, I'd like to ask you, how many sets of tires do you feel that you'll burn at, like, New Hampshire? And when do the tires get paid for? Do they get paid for when the guys take them off the truck, or do they get paid for? Do they bill you down the road, or?
Well, it depends on how well we do that day. If we have a good day, we pay for them immediately. But
how about the unused tires? Do you get to give some back, or do you have to hang on to them till the next time you come to that same track?
We get to send back a set of stickers if we don't use them, and you know, we keep everything that we got. We use it for testing, and of course we analyze them when we come back for wear. We'll probably use 4 sets this weekend. Hopefully 3, probably 4 good years.
And NASCAR has worked hard, as have the tire companies, to try and make sure that the tire wear is being reduced to the minimums possible. In Winston Cup, of course, those 3 sets of tires during practice and qualifying and so on. Let's go to Scranton, Pennsylvania. Chuck, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Eli, and hello, Ricky. How are you?
I'm really good.
Great.
I have a question for you. Are Busch Grand National points calculated in the same manner as Winston Cup points? And if they differ, how do they differ?
Well, they're the same, I believe, with the exception that for leading the most laps and leading a lap, Winston Cup competitors get bonus points, 5 points for leading the most laps, I believe, and 5 points for leading a lap. And with the exception of that, they're the same.
Right. Everything else is basically the same. There's no lap leader bonuses, and it's worked out well for many, many years. Down to Georgia now, where a viewer is joining us on the Sports South Network. Hello, Ernest. How you doing tonight?
How you doing, Eli?
Real well. What's happening?
Not much. I'm questioning.
Old Ernest.
Ernest had
Sounds
to go.
like the grandchildren hung up the telephone down there. We'll hopefully he'll call back and join us again. This New Hampshire Speedway, is it a tough track to negotiate? I mean, you've won here. Heck, you had the track championship and the little ad hoc championship that they put together a couple years ago. Is this a demanding racetrack on driver and car, or is it relatively easy to negotiate?
It's very demanding mentally. Very important you hit the line to getting in the corner, and it's a wonderful place. Smooth. Everybody loves coming here, but if you don't get in the corner correctly, it's hard to get back out. And there's no really difficult way to get around, but it's difficult to be fast. And a lot of racing room. It's forgiving, and I think as competitors we appreciate that. But to be up front, you need to have great concentration and focus. And
yeah, I think there's been a classic example, watching it over the years too, of how a track has grown. I remember the first races here. There was about a half a groove to run on, and now you've got yourself a wide enough racetrack to have some good competition. Next on the phone line, joining us from Little Chute, Wisconsin, is Steve. How you doing, Steve?
Ricky, I was wondering, since you and Jeff Gordon both drive for DuPont, does Jeff give you hints on how to try certain tracks that when you guys run the Winston Cup tracks, or do you guys are basically by yourselves and just the sponsorship is the same?
We had touched on it to some degree earlier, but can a guy really tell you how to drive? I mean, can he say, this is the line, or do you have to just learn it your own way?
Well, I had said that Jeff spots for me on Saturday, and the benefit for him in doing that is he gets to watch the race unfold. The 200, 300 lap race, he'll watch it, and the preferred groove will move. It'll change from the beginning of the race to the middle to the end. He'll help me watching other cars. If we're not where we need to be, he'll say, Ricky, it looks like you need to be a little closer getting off the corner. You need to move up a little bit getting in. And it benefits me greatly, but it also benefits him to prepare himself for the next day's race.
Ricky Craven is our special guest this evening. Tomorrow, they'll run for the Busch Pole at New Hampshire International, and it's a Saturday race this weekend, the Chevy Dealers 250. Sunday is Mother's Day, so everybody wants to be back with the family. So as we break away now, check out the qualifying numbers and some of the race information for Saturday's Busch Series event here at New Hampshire. Then we're coming right back.
It happens. You're not supposed to lose. But you do. And you remember everything. Every round. Every punch. Most of all, you remember the man who beat you. And you don't forget. Revenge. 4 championship rematches. Saturday, May 7th. Live on pay-per-view.
Chavez and Randall clash again. Only on pay-per-view.
You can own your Bowflex for as little as $29 per month. Call now for more information. When you call, we'll send you a free comparison video and a free brochure so you can get all the facts. Bowflex, it's simply better, easier, more effective, and more affordable. All you have to do is pick up the phone and let us show you why Bowflex is the right machine for you. Go ahead, make your own comparison, and call Bowflex right now.
The world of soccer comes to life every week on Football Mundial with insights, news, and stories from the world's first international soccer magazine show. Trust the leading authority, Football Mundial, every week on Prime.
Behind the colorful helmet and the colors of a rainbow warrior, if you will, Ricky Craven, driver of the DuPont Chevrolet. You like that full-face helmet there? Because I've talked to so many different drivers, and more fellas are going to the full-face helmet, but there are some very good ones who say it inhibits their peripheral vision.
It may. It took me a little time to adjust. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
It's smart. I'm glad that somebody got us started. It should have happened 10 years ago. It didn't, but we're comfortable with it now, and I really do like it.
Let's head up to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Paul, watching on the KBL Sports Network. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Good, Eli. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Really enjoy the show. As a matter of fact, I usually listen to you while I'm watching the races.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to know what the difference between the Busch car and the Winston car, like the weight, besides the engine being a V6 and a V8, but, you know, the weight, the wheelbase, Is the wheelbase the same? The weight? How about the horsepower?
Good question. There are some rather significant differences, certainly.
Obviously, the horsepower, the V8 versus the V6, and I believe it's 300 pounds.
Right.
Eli with the weight, and 3 or 4 or 5 inches on the wheelbase. And
at many tracks, the Busch cars are weighed with the driver on board. At some locales, Winston Cup, that hasn't happened. At the Busch Series, it does at some tracks and not otherwise. So there are some differences. But again, we're going to see it getting a little bit closer together now that the Busch cars will have the V8s to power around the racetrack with here coming up shortly. Scott is on the phone line down in the Lone Star State of Texas. He's watching us in Austin tonight on the HSE network. Hello.
How you doing?
Good, Scott.
Good show, Eli. Great.
Thank you.
We're glad to see it down here. We don't get a lot of NASCAR around here.
Well, glad to be on with you there in Longhorn Country. What's up?
Question for Ricky. I'm starting off on my 2nd year in racing and having problems trying to find a good sponsor. Can you offer any advice?
Boy, here's a $6 million question.
Must be a DuPont outlet there somewhere.
How difficult was it when you were up here, just knocking on the doors? Is that the only way to do it?
It's extremely difficult, but it's like anything else. There are no shortcuts, and you just have to prepare for everything differently. You have to prepare yourself to be more than a race car driver, be a representative, and put the jacket on or the suit and tie, and do the things that aren't necessarily kind of the unexpected things that that you have to do nowadays to be in this position.
It may not be something you're comfortable with, but it's a fact of life in the business. Bruce is watching on the New England Sports Network, joining us tonight from New Hampshire. How you doing, Bruce? Good evening.
How you doing, Eli?
Very well.
Show.
Thank you, sir.
I got a question for Ricky. When you're running at the same track, the Busch and the Winston cars, are the Goodyear tires that you use the same on the Busch cars as they are for the Winston Cup cars?
In some cases, in most cases, Goodyear has an excellent tire for the Busch car and for the Winston Cup car, and they're a little different.
Right.
And they've been so precise. They've done an awesome job this year, and they certainly have themselves way out front.
How much do you fudge on tire pressure? Tracy Leslie, one of your cohorts on the racetrack, he runs those tires soft. You get a recommended tire pressure. He just is comfortable being down on tire pressure. Do you go according to the suggestion, or do you take some liberties?
Well, we listen to the engineers a lot, and they're smart, and they get paid to do a job just like the rest of the guys on the team, and we listen to them, and the guys are learning their jobs. They're new at it. They're doing a good job. Last week we passed 5 or 6 cars in the first 3 laps. We didn't start as low as they did, and I think we benefited.
Let's go out to Yakima, Washington. Mike joining us in the Pacific Northwest. Hey, Mike. Hello, Mike. Are you there? Apparently he's talking to Ernest down in Georgia, I guess, and they haven't gotten together there. Is there a comfort level that you have attained at this point? Are you comfortable most everywhere you run? You said you're still learning on occasion, certainly, but have you reached a degree of comfort?
Absolutely. I'm as happy as I've been in a long, long time. I'm very comfortable at all racetracks. I'm attacking them, which is what you need to do to be competitive and be successful. And you know, most people are surprised to find that I have a psychiatrist. And that,
really?
Yeah, and I brought her with me this week. She's my 2.5-year-old little baby girl, and she's helped the whole process. You know, when we have a bad day, we go to lunch and we talk about things, and I forget about my problems. Right?
Exactly right. Ricky Craven is our special guest. Again, a reminder that next Thursday we're going to be out on the West Coast with the Winston Cup teams at Sears Point, and our show will be at the GGP Studios in Corte Madera, California, not far from Sears Point. Tickets will be given out. Of course, there's no charge. Tickets will be given out at 3 o'clock Pacific time. First come, first served, because we understand the switchboards out there have been blown out by requests. Ricky Rudd is the guest, and the show will be on the air at 6 o'clock Pacific time next Thursday for those of you attending in person. 2 weeks from tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time at WTVI TV in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hope you can join us there in person, or certainly right here on Prime. We'd love for you to be part of the show. We're coming right back after we check out the broadcast schedule for Saturday's Busch Series race. Take a look at where you can hear and see the event, and more with Ricky in a moment.
Do you toss and turn all night long? Do you wake up with neck and shoulder pain? Try the Contour Pillow, anatomically designed for the natural contour of your head and neck to support and align your spine for a great night's sleep. Look, ordinary pillows lose shape and sag, causing neck tension and back pain. But the Contour Pillow provides gentle orthopedic support. Tense muscles relax. You awake refreshed.
The difference I feel in my neck and my back is really amazing.
Best of all, my husband doesn't snore anymore.
Therapeutic pillows cost $60 or more. Now enjoy the ultimate night's sleep for only $19.95. Order in the next 10 minutes and we'll also include this washable cover absolutely free. Enjoy the best night's sleep you've ever had or return it for a full refund. The Contour Pillow is now available. Order now.
For shipment of your Contour Pillow within 7 days, use your credit card and call 1-800-292-6700 or send $19.95 plus $5.95 shipping and handling to Contour Pillow, P.O. Box 11624, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Prime Racing has got the checkered flag. Start your engines, race fans. Prime has captured the pole position for the top NASCAR, ASA, NHRA, SCCA, and AMA road events. Plus magazine shows that highlight the leading drivers and the best races. Whether it's 4 wheels or 2 wheels, anything that burns rubber, shifts gears, pushes the barriers of speed, Prime Racing has got the checkered flag. Start your engines with Prime Racing throughout the season on Prime.
For those of you who have never seen the facility, there's a look at the New Hampshire International Speedway, last year's event here with Ricky Craven running right in the middle of that pack of traffic, a race that Joe Nemechek went on to win. As we welcome you back to Concord, New Hampshire, the beautiful state capital here just across the street from our location as we are with Ricky Craven tonight. Our next phone call is from the fine city of Lost Wages, Nevada. How you doing out there in Las Vegas tonight, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good, Eli. I love the show.
Thank you, sir.
The question I've got for you is, I've got a kind of a strange hobby. I collect rules, racing rules.
Racing rules?
Yeah, I've got like the MTRA for the monster trucks and all kinds of different rules and stuff. I'd like to know how I can get a set of NASCAR rules.
Well, NASCAR rule books might be the toughest thing to come by. You've got to be a member of NASCAR, an active competitor to even be able to secure a rule book. It is just not readily available. We talked about that with a caller a week or two ago. NASCAR just keeps a close tab on those who have full access to their rule book. Certainly one exists. We see it each and every week in our business, but you've got to be a member of NASCAR and an active competitor in that given division to be able to get the rule book and any rule amendments and changes and so on. We were mentioning at the top of the show, the Pontiac guys have gotten a bit of a change in body configuration in the Winston Cup deal. How difficult when changes happen midstream? You've got the option now for the V8 program for Busch Series engines. How tough for an owner to have to re-gear the operation for the future?
It's difficult. May, June, July. It's not that difficult in October, November, December maybe, but I think they're going to welcome this, and you know they need a little help. It's evident. You can see it in the results, and I think that NASCAR has made an awful lot of good decisions, and usually this doesn't happen in the middle of the season, but this is necessary.
They had a good test session in Atlanta a week ago Monday, and that's where the NASCAR officials met with the Pontiac teams. And again, I think we've got to stress the Pontiac guys didn't get everything they had asked for, but they did get some rule concessions in time for the Winston Select Open at Charlotte. Let's get to a questioner now who's on the voicemail, called in earlier this week. Larry from Elizabethton, Tennessee, had this question. Let's listen in.
Yes, I'd like to know if you think that the Busch Series drivers will be better prepared going back to a V8 engine over the V6 in the coming future.
Well, that's, I guess it's a toss-up. You just don't know.
My whole opinion's changed. Personally, I'm really excited about the V8. It's going to take us some time, and we got a great engine builder, Jim Michael, in Performance Technology. But to be able to run the V8, assuming we run another year of Busch, or if we don't, we'll test some this year. It'll help me make that transition, prepare me for Winston Cup. And, I hope that opportunity comes up, but this will help us prepare for it.
How far off are the Ricky Craven master plans now from Winston Cup?
Well, you got to dial 1-800-DuPont and you ask them. They're gonna help make that decision, Chevrolet, and they've been so good to me. But
are you ready? if they say let's do it?
Last year I wasn't, but I'm feeling better about it. And you touched on it, being with Jeff and going. I went to Martinsville a couple weeks ago. We had the weekend off. I didn't stay home. I went to Martinsville.
Right.
I nosed around. I'm conscious of the things that I need to work harder on, and familiar with some other things. And I want to be there, but I'm still young enough to wait a while.
No rush. You're exactly right. We're going to come right back and wind things up with Ricky Craven, but right now as we leave, I'd love for you to make note of the folks who make this show possible, our sponsors on This Week in NASCAR, and we're back to wind it up right after this.
This Week in NASCAR has been brought to you by Nutmeg Racing. Nutmeg's new NASCAR collection of caps and T-shirts are for race fans who want to stand out from the crowd. By Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinkin' Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. By Chevrolet. One car company has won more NASCAR races over the last 10 years. Genuine Chevrolet. And by Eagle One. Ultra premium waxes and polishes.
Hi, I'm Joe Gibbs. You know, as an NFL coach and a NASCAR owner, I've always tried to get the best talent behind me. So when I got Nutmeg Mills together with Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Bill Elliott, Mark Martin, Kyle Petty, Jeff Gordon, and Dale Jarrett, I knew we'd have a winner. It's Nutmeg's official NASCAR collection for race fans who want to stand out from the crowd. Now, if I could just get some of these drivers behind me during the race.
Official NASCAR apparel by Nutmeg Mills. Available at fine stores everywhere.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's all plain to see that the land is pure, untamed and free. There's no place that I'd rather be. So come on along and head for the mountains of Busch Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Busch Beer.
We may not be the first to promise you the sun, the moon, the stars, but we may be the first to actually deliver them. Introducing the new Camaro convertible. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll?
Giddy up for the ride of a lifetime. It's Cowboy versus Bull, and 8 seconds puts him on top of the world. Anything less is just a drag. Bull riders only, reaching all season on Prime.
Well, as they all do, this hour has flown by on This Week in NASCAR. We certainly appreciate you taking the time to join us here on this Thursday evening. And Ricky Craven, it's a pleasure. We do want to give you this NASCAR sweater, which I was going to say on what's today, the 5th of May. I didn't think you'd be able to wear it, though, when I got off the airplane this morning. It was a little chilly, but enjoy that from Nutmeg Mills and enjoy what's been an outstanding career and many, many successful years to come.
Thank you. It's terrific. I've had so much fun, and thank everybody for being here, and look forward to doing it again.
We'll see you next Thursday from Corte Madera, California with Ricky Rudd, our guest. Until then, I'm Eli Gold. Good night, everybody.
Guests on This Week in NASCAR receive the latest in sporty NASCAR wearing apparel from Nutmeg Mills. You can also stand out from the crowd when wearing officially licensed NASCAR sportswear from Nutmeg Mills. Facilities for production and accommodations for This Week in NASCAR were provided by the Holiday Inn in Concord, New Hampshire. Whether you're going to the races, vacationing, or just coming for business, plan to stay at the Holiday Inn, the official hotel of the New Hampshire International Raceway. Make the Holiday Inn your headquarters the next time you visit New Hampshire. Now it's easy to get through to us. Just call the This Week in NASCAR voicemail box anytime at 1-800-292-5551 and listen each week for your call. Or write us at This Week in NASCAR, 1625 Broadway, Suite 550, Denver, Colorado, 80202.